The second you walk into the room, your cat throws their whole body into a long dramatic stretch, and almost nobody knows what they're actually communicating. It looks like nothing. A little loosening up, a casual physical reset, but that movement is one of the most intentional signals in your cat's entire behavioral vocabulary, and if you've been brushing past it, you've been missing a direct message. Let's go through what's really happening. Here's a question that sounds simple but isn't. If your cat's body was just stiff from sleeping, why does the stretch always seem to happen the instant you appear? Why not an hour earlier? Why not when they're alone? Because this stretch isn't about their body at all. Researchers who study feline social behavior have a term for it: the social stretch. It's a response triggered not by muscle tension or post-nap stiffness, but specifically by your arrival. Your cat sees you, and something in their brain activates. The stretch is the output. That timing is not coincidence, that's the entire point. What makes this genuinely fascinating is that cats don't do it for everyone. If you've ever noticed your cat dropping into a full stretch when you come home, but barely reacting when others walk in, that isn't random. That's your cat ranking you, selecting you, communicating something in a language that has no words. Most owners catch this, think cute, and move on. But now you understand it differently. That stretch is them reaching toward you, deliberately, on purpose, in the only way they know how. Before we go further, if your cat has never done this around you, stay with us. What that actually signals and how to change it is the last thing we cover. It's worth waiting for. Do wildcats do this? No, and the reason that matters is profound. The social stretch doesn't exist in nature. Feral cats, big cats, undomesticated species, none of them use this movement as a greeting. It never existed in the original feline behavioral toolkit. There was no reason for it. There was no one to stretch for. But when cats began living alongside people, thousands of years of cohabitation, proximity, mutual observation, something changed. Cats started developing signals that had one exclusive purpose: reaching humans. Mewing in adults is one of them. Wild cats stopped vocalizing that way after kittenhood. It's a human-directed sound. The slow blink, that soft narrowing of the eyes that we now know functions as an expression of trust, also shaped for us. And this stretch falls in the same category. Studies in animal cognition confirm it. Domestic cats have developed an entire behavioral layer used solely in interactions with people, not with other cats, not with prey, not with rivals, specifically with us. So when your cat stretches the moment they register your presence, they're not operating on instinct alone. They're using a behavior that their wild ancestors had no need for. One that exists only because humans became part of their world. Your cat didn't inherit this behavior. They developed it because you were worth reaching. If you're enjoying this and learning something real about your cat, hit like and subscribe to Pawsychology. More cat owners need to understand what their cats have been saying all along. Here's something most cat owners have never been told. Between your cat's paw pads, there are scent glands, and when your cat stretches, especially when they press or flex their paws against a surface, those glands release pheromones. You cannot detect them, they are completely invisible to human senses. But to another cat, that chemical signature is as readable as a posted sign. So what does this mean when your cat stretches near you? On the cushion you always sit on, at the edge of your bed, right at your feet while you work. They're not only greeting you, they're leaving a mark. One that says, in the most feline way possible, this person is mine. Not territorial in the way we typically imagine, aggressive, defensive, threatening. This is something softer. It's the territory of familiarity, of belonging. Your cat has placed you inside the circle of what they consider safe, and they're marking that fact in a language older than words, and they're particular about it. Your cat doesn't press those paws into every corner or every person. When they do it near you, a decision has already been made, a quiet, private one, and you passed. Have you ever watched your cat walk directly past someone in your household, completely indifferent, and then pull out a full theatrical stretch the moment you settle into your seat? That gap isn't accidental. Cats maintain an internal hierarchy, but it isn't organized around feeding schedules, it's organized around emotional safety. Around who makes them feel understood. Research on cats living in multi-person households shows that social behaviors are distributed unevenly and intentionally. Certain people receive more sustained eye contact, more soft vocalizations, more trust signals, and far more stretches. Everyone else gets a glance at best. If your cat consistently performs for you while ignoring others, you've earned something. A ranking, a status inside their private world. That doesn't happen by accident, it happens through consistency, through calm, through presence that doesn't push. And if you're watching this from the other side, if the stretch seems to belong to someone else in your home, that's not a closed door. Cats don't distribute affection based on fairness. They build it through repeated, low-pressure contact. The bond can be earned, it just takes patience and paying attention. You open your eyes. Your cat is already there, positioned near you, watching, waiting, and the exact moment your gaze finds theirs, they stretch. fully, deliberately. As if they've been holding it just for this. They were awake for hours before you. They could have stretched at any point during the night. They chose not to. They held it until you woke up. Cats are crepuscular, their energy peaks at dawn and dusk, so your sleeping hours are their alert hours. They were active while you were unconscious, roaming, watching, keeping their own kind of vigil. And when you finally surfaced, that stretch arrived as a carefully timed greeting. Behavioral researchers describe it as a reset signal, marking the shift from night into day, from absence back into connection. When your cat stretches the moment you open your eyes, they're not waking up, they've been waiting. Notice this with guests sometime. Someone staying over for the night almost certainly won't receive this. It's not offered casually. That particular stretch is a relationship-specific behavior, reserved for the people your cat has already decided matter most. There's something worth sitting with in that. A cat who feels tense, unsafe or uncertain doesn't allow their body to open like that. The morning stretch is them releasing something, their guard, their vigil, telling you, you're awake, and now I can exhale, you have somewhere to be. The hallway is open, and then there is your cat, fully extended, occupying precisely the spot you need to walk through, looking completely unbothered by this fact. This is not an accident of timing. Cats are acutely aware of spatial patterns. They have logged your movement habits, your routes, your rhythms, the predictable paths you take throughout the home. And when they choose to stretch directly in your lane, they've done a calculation. They've chosen the single location in the house that makes ignoring them physically difficult. They could have stretched behind the sofa, under the table, in a corner no one ever visits. They didn't. Some behavioral researchers frame this as a form of attention engineering, a mild test of influence. Can your cat stop you? Can they redirect your attention entirely, just by existing in the right spot at the right moment? And every time you slow down, look at them, exhale a small laugh, maybe say something out loud, you've answered the question. They can. It's not desperation, it's confidence. Your cat knows your patterns better than you realize, and they've just demonstrated it. What if you've watched this entire video and thought, that's not my cat? What if the stretch has never made an appearance? First, breathe. This is data, not a verdict. Cats who don't display the social stretch around their owners typically fall into one of two situations. Either the environment doesn't feel reliably safe, or they've quietly learned that stretching doesn't produce a response. Remember what we covered. This behavior evolved because it works with humans. But learned behavior responds to feedback. If your cat stretched near you repeatedly and you walked past without any acknowledgement, they processed that information. That signal doesn't land here, so they stopped sending it. The good news can shift. Start paying attention to smaller signals, a slow blink, a soft vocalization, a paw briefly extended in your direction. When those happen, pause. Respond, a quiet word, a slow blink returned, a gentle touch if they're open to it. You're teaching them that their signals reach you. For cats who carry general tension in their body, the environment is usually worth examining. Unpredictable noise, chaotic schedules, frequent disruptions, these keep a cat's nervous system on alert. A body that's bracing doesn't open into a stretch. Steady, calm, consistent presence is the answer here. Not tricks, not treats, just reliability over time. Watch what happens. If this changed how you see your cat, like this video and subscribe to Pawsychology. Your cat has been talking this whole time, let's make sure you catch it.